Good evening. This is a meeting of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow. Will you please rise with me as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance? Please remain standing. As many of you know, this is the point in our meetings when we remember those members of our community who've passed since our last meeting. And since our last meeting, we lost Jose Martinez at the tender age of 87, a longtime resident of North Tarrytown and Sleepy Hollow. Our thoughts are with his family and with his friends. Thank you. Please be seated. Okay, first up, we have a warrant which was distributed earlier to the trustees. If you have any questions on the warrant, please direct them to the treasurer.
Motion to approve the warrant?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Could I see it for a second? I always like to say the amount, and I just didn't bring my copy with me. For the record, the total amount of the warrant is $423,724.67. One big item in the warrant is a wire transfer of almost $170,000 to Historic Hudson Valley. And longtime watchers of our meetings will remember that that's a pass-through. That's a grant that Historic Hudson Valley got to do work on their site, and the grant had to be handled by a municipality, so the money comes to us, and then we pass it on to them when we get invoiced for it. Moved and seconded. Any further discussion or comments on the warrant? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? And the warrant is approved.
Thank you.
Welcome. We have the minutes of February 4th. Any changes, edits, corrections to the minutes?
Motion to approve the minutes of February 4th, 2020?
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions?
Abstain.
Please note the abstention for the record. I got a couple of announcements. Next Monday is President's Day. As you all know, every president of the United States was born on a Monday in February. And so an odd, weird, coincidence, but so we celebrate that by having that day off that Monday. And that is rolling around this coming Monday. So Village Hall will be closed. So that means all the sanitation routes that normally pick up on Monday will pick up on Tuesday. Also, just want to note and remind the board that next week is the Board of Assessment Review, which is a board made up of members of this board that reviews tax grievances. And next Tuesday, the 18th, you can grieve your taxes, and you can do it in person by dropping off your grievance here between the hours of 4 and 8 next week. And we need to be convened as that Board of Assessment Review with at least a quorum. So I'll double check at the end of the meeting tonight to make sure that we've got 4 folks. And enough of the business. So some happy news to pass on. Our own Clarence Sherrick and his wife Claire brought Clarence didn't do it. Claire brought in a new person to this world, a new baby this past weekend. Lucy May. Clarence is doing just fine, thank you. So is Claire, far more important. My personal thoughts to both of them, they were really good friends with my youngest kid from high school on, and just really happy for them. And it's an exciting moment for them and for the families. So we will move on to reports. First up, Chief of Police, Chief Boetti.
Good evening, Mayor, Board of Trustees. So far this year, we've answered 271 calls for service, have effected 27 arrests, and issued 486 summonses. At the last meeting, I mentioned that we were going to meet with Phelps Memorial Hospital in regards to a drill that we were planning. And as an ancillary process that happened to it was we're going to start setting up with the hospital, our first responders, meaning, the fire department, PD, and ambulance corps, to walk through the hospital with some of their staff, just so they can point out some sensitive areas that we should be aware about. For example, the MRI chamber. What I did learn at this meeting also is that that magnet is always on. And it's very important to know where that magnet is pointed when you go into that room, especially with all of our equipment and gear on. So we'll be setting that up. I didn't have a chance to attend the school safety panel discussion last Tuesday night. I think it answered a lot of questions for a lot of the students and also parents out there. How we came about with these plans, our process in making these plans, and overall what we learned from that incident. And we also found areas of improvement. We were able to secure scent detection dogs for both the marathon and the St. Patty's Day Parade. So that planning is ongoing. Thursday, the 20th, we're going to have our annual PD, PVA sports day at the high school for grades K through 5. And that's the 20th from 10 to 12:30. So please drop your kids off. It's at the gymnasium of the high school, and there should be 2 Gaga pits, plus the basketball nets will be down, or up rather, as well as some soccer balls and other activities for the kids.
And
We're also,
Officer Kelly is in the 40-yard dash or the 100?
Make sure everybody stretches before the activities begin.
I'll be in the chair-sitting competition myself.
being that this event was partially funded by Kendall and Hudson, we will be doing Friday coffee at Kendall with some of the residents.
Cool.
We had a meeting this afternoon with our community liaison, Ms. Loja, and we've identified a possible event coming this June. We're hoping for June, where we're going to solicit a bunch of questions from the community. The most questions that we get, I'm sure hopefully there'll be hundreds of them, but the 15 to 20 most asked questions, we'd set up our panel of officers with myself, answer them, and then have a breakout session where the community could come and do ask one-on-one questions with the officers. So it's kind of like a hybrid of what we did last year with the community meeting we had.
That was great.
Right, but in this one, we're hoping to get a little bit more one-on-one time with the officers at it. And that's pretty much my report for the month of February.
Do you know where you're going to hold that event?
We believe we're going to use the senior center that night.
Great. Any more questions, for the chief? Okay, thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
We have another report from our building department, and Mr. McCarthy had another engagement, so he's on his way here. So we'll just pick up when he comes in. with that, so we'll move ahead to public comments. If anyone wishes to address the board, you may do so now. Please use the microphone in the middle of the room. This is where I say we have this vast viewing audience, and we actually do. And they want to be able to hear whatever you have to say. So, yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, Board of Trustees. My name is Asha Casper Hernandez, and I'm here representing with my family, Inzars and Smiths. We have been part of the Terrytown, Sleepy Hollow residency or community for more than 4 or 5 decades. We recently lost a legend in our community, Gerald Inzar Jr., who has been maintaining his own barbershop business on the top of Cortland for many, many, many years, and we're asking for a special request. So, Uncle John, would you like to communicate a special request? Okay, well, I'll just do it. The passing of Gerald Inzar is very important, should not be overlooked. He has been extremely instrumental in the community. So with that being said, we are requesting that the corner of Cortland Street, the top of Cortland Street, should be named after him. Why? Because his name is very symbolic to the community. Many people for many years have utilized Gerald Inzar's services, and not only that, his character, it resonates among many people. Really great man, never had any enemies. And again, his family has been here for many, many decades. So that is our request, and do we have any additional comments?
I think we'll approve the island.
Oh, yes, island, yes, okay, okay.
Yeah, it's we're requesting some notification right in the middle where the stop sign is, the small island right there. Okay.
Understood. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anyone else wish to address the board? All right, I'll remind you all that we actually have a second time in our meetings where we also invite public comments. So if anybody else wants to say anything, we have another opportunity, or you have another opportunity later on in the meeting. For now, we will move on to resolutions. And for first-timers to our meetings, your opportunity to speak to us is, tell us what's on your mind, and in this case, requests eloquently put forward. But it's not a question and answer period. So we listen and absorb it, and then we respond later. So thank you for your comments. All right, we have 4 resolutions. I'm adding one from the request from the fire wardens to this list of 3 that we had. Somebody take the first one.
Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow to approve denouncing anti-Semitism. Whereas our nation was founded on the principles of religious freedom and the right of all people to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And whereas contrary to those principles, there has been a significant increase of violent anti-Semitic attacks throughout the United States, and particularly New York State's Hudson Valley region. Whereas we are appalled by the anti-Semitic attacks here at home in Westchester County and on our Rockland County neighbors. Be it resolved that on this day of February 11th of 2020, we, the elected leaders of the Village of Sleepy Hollow, New York, stand in solidarity with the people of Yorktown and Muncie in rejecting all forms of bigotry, hatred, or discrimination of any kind. And be it further resolved that we will partner with neighboring communities and Westchester County officials to ensure that prejudice, intolerance, bigotry, and discrimination will not threaten the rights and privileges of its people, and that all are treated with dignity. And be it further resolved that our village will make every effort to ensure that our community is one where all faiths and traditions are respected, and where openness, inclusion, freedom, and mutual understanding will be promoted so that all people may live free from violence, harassment, or prejudice. We welcome and encourage other municipalities to join this resolution and to join forces toward ensuring that the vile history of anti-Semitism and other forms of intolerance in New York and elsewhere ends now and ends here. And be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be forwarded to each municipality in Westchester County and all those deemed necessary and proper so that the intent of our county elected leaders is widely known. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? The resolution's approved.
Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow to approve court clerk training. Be it resolved, the Board of Trustees hereby authorizes the village's court clerk, Michelle McLean, and the village's deputy court clerk, Shirley Benavides, to attend the annual judicial education program in New York City, New York, from February 16th to 18th, 2020, not to exceed the cost of $1,000. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Resolution's approved.
Counsel,
Yes, sir.
which part, do I have to read the entire resolution?
No, you can read, excuse me, beginning it now, therefore be it resolved.
Okay.
Which one?
Second resolution approving settlement of action by 990 Main Street LLC for property located at 128 Cortlandt Street and College Avenue, Sleepy Hollow, New York. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes the village attorney to execute a consent judgment in substantiality, the form as attached to these resolutions, setting the claims in all respects with assessed values for the 2019 tax year as set forth in the assessed value reduced to columns on the schedules at the end of the resolutions, and be it further resolved that the fund for the 2019 tax year is authorized in the amount set forth in the anticipated refund columns on the schedules at the end of the resolution, subject to adjustment by the increase of not more than 5% or the reduction of any amount upon final calculation after entry of a consent judgment implementing the settlement. 128 Cortlandt Street, tax year 2019, assessed value reduced from $199,200, assessed value reduced to $173,950, assessed value reduction $25,250, anticipated refund of $2,202.20. College Avenue, tax year 2019, assessed value reduced from $20,000, assessed value reduced to $20,000, assessed value reduction $0, anticipated refund $0. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Questions for council? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Resolution's approved.
So the same thing goes for the,
Yes, ma'am.
okay. Now therefore be it resolved, the Board of Trustees authorizes the village attorney to execute a consent judgment in substantiality, the form as attached to these resolutions, settling the claims in all respects with assessed values for the 2014, the 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 tax years as set forth in the assessed value to reduce column on the schedule at the end of the resolutions, of these resolutions, and be it further. I just recognized I didn't read the top part, so should I state that? Okay. This is a resolution approving settlement of action by Sundown Baldwin LLC for property located at 86 Beekman Avenue, 106 DePeyster Street, and 170 Cortlandt Street, Sleepy Hollow, New York, for the record. So resolved that refunds for the 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019 tax years are authorized in the amount set forth in the anticipated refund column on the schedule at the end of these resolutions, subject to the adjustment by an increase of not more than 5% or a reduction in any amount upon final calculations after entry of consent judgment implementing the settlement. So Clinton, just read the anticipated amount or
Anticipated refund would be fine.
with the year.
Yes.
So for 86 Beekman Avenue, we have tax year 2015. The anticipated refund is $691.20. For 2016, the anticipated refund amount is $917.64. For 2017, the anticipated refund is $1,417.93. For 2018, we have a refund of $1,367.00. And for 2019, the anticipated refund is $1,970.20. Then we move on to 106 to Peister Street. The tax year for 2016 is $0 for anticipated refund. For 2017, $0. 2018, we have $354.91. And for 2019, there's $943.24. 170 Cortlandt Street, tax year of 2014, it's zero, anticipated refund is $0 for 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? The resolution's approved.
Resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sleepy Hollow approving the action of the Board of Fire Wardens. Whereas the Board of Fire Wardens of the Sleepy Hollow Fire Department at a recent meeting voted to accept the following members as attached in the enclosed memo. On behalf of Columbia Hose Company 3, the following individual has been elected to active membership: Tim Noonan, 190 Altamont Avenue, Tarrytown, New York. On behalf of Rescue Hose Company 1, the following individual has been elected to active membership: Jennifer Percio, 33 Maple Street, Sleepy Hollow, New York. On behalf of Union Hose Company 2, the following individual has been elected to active membership: Manuel Chimbo Pasto, 55 Chestnut Street, Sleepy Hollow, New York. On behalf of the Sleepy Hollow Volunteer Fire Department Junior Corps, the following individual has been elected to membership: Matthew Ryan, 117 New Broadway, Sleepy Hollow, New York. So moved.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed or abstentions? The resolution's approved. That completes our resolutions for the evening. Ms. Bucci, did we have any communications?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any old business or new business? Okay, I just want to remind everybody, just to get a head count afterwards to make sure that we've got 4 of us at 4 o'clock next Tuesday. We'll move on to public comments. If anyone wishes to address the board, you may do so now. Seeing no groundswell of, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'm sorry.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. We're going to need a public.
Executive session.
Somebody say this for me. I was so excited that we were going to be done so quickly. A record.
What's the matter?
Well,
Personnel.
there's 2 matters, but I also have 2 announcements. I know we were waiting for the building inspector, but I did want to update the board on a couple of things.
Okay.
If you don't mind. Sidewalk project for Beekman Avenue, it's gone out to bid. We expect the bids back by the 28th. We've got a lot of interest so far.
Okay.
The water line project under the train tracks between the east parcel and west parcel, we have a pre-construction meeting Thursday at 1 o'clock. That project will start next week. And just one other thing, if ever any of you are in the neighborhood of the east parcel or Sleepy Hollow Common, they're doing a lot of work, and you can see a lot of progress on that site now. It's fairly exciting to see the work really taking shape. So I recommend you take a ride down there.
I have a question about the work that's being done by Con Ed.
Yes.
There seems to be some flares with gas, smelling of gas in certain areas, and I'm just looking to see what's going on.
So,
Two occasions I've
so we experienced this
witnessed.
when they did the work in the inner village because a lot of the old gas lines are very old.
Yes,
When they exposed them, they would have already had a crack in them, but when they expose it, the gas is released, and I think that's where we're getting some of those calls from.
sure.
I know that the fire department is concerned about one area in particular that I'm gonna meet with Con Edison about at the bottom of Mechanical Street and Route 9.
Yes,
But it's not, we had
Okay.
experienced the same thing when they do this work. They seem to expose some of these gas lines that have problems. So,
okay. I appreciate that because there's been some
Yeah.
discussion in the neighborhood.
But while we're on the subject, I am meeting with Con Edison about restoration to the streets they've already completed in Weber Park as well as on Lawrence. So we expect that work to start in the spring.
Okay, thank you for that.
So a motion to go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter?
Personnel matter.
Seconded.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? This is an executive session of the Board of Trustees. I expect that when we finish the executive session, we'll take no further action for the evening other than to adjourn both the executive session and then our regular meeting. So thank you and good night.